Hello and welcome to WoodWorkbyChan. Today I'll be building a workbench because my current situation it ends up being a cluttered mess. It's more of a storage space than a workbench. But before we can get going, I must clean up all the crap that's been building up in there for, well, years. I didn't realize how much junk I accumulated over time because you just end up dumping into the corner, and it basically became an unusable space. So right now I have former tools or attempts at making tools to scrap wood to cone of some sort. Anyways, the attempt is to clear all that up so that I have a space that I can use to start actually working and doing my guitar work and other workshop. I was unaware that the battery was running low on my camera until all of a sudden it cut out right about here. Anyways, once it's all cleared out, my workbench looks like this, which looks very unstable because it's a tiny little dowel holding up the entire weight. So now that I have the space emptied out, I can take measurements for the height and the depth of the workbench and the supports. So I start with 2x4s, and I just simply mark the length that I want for each of the legs. Now that they're all measured, I can take them straight to the chop saw and cut them down to length. Next up is to measure the cross beams or the support beams that will hold up the shelf, because it will also use as a storage unit underneath the bench itself, and to also add support to hold up the actual tabletop itself. So this is all the lumber cut up into appropriate sizes, and we go to assembly. Assembly starts with me putting one of the legs onto one of the cross beams. I try to make sure it's square in each corner by making sure I use a speed square. I love the camera work because my head gets in the way so you can't see anything that I'm doing there, but I think you understand what I'm trying to do. And then I repeat the same thing on the other side, which would be the back side of the bench, which is up against the wall in the corner of the room. Once I have the first piece up, I put a second piece to reinforce each of the legs so that it's two 2x4s together on the outside and on the inside legs. Hopefully this will keep the bench from swaying too much when I start putting extra force into any of my work. Once the legs are done, I flip the whole assembly over and then mark off the height of the shelf that I want to put on. I will make sure that it's high enough that I can fit my miter saw underneath the bench while using the top shelf for any wood storage that I might need. Again, I use a speed square to make sure that all my corners are level or square and my shelf is level. And through the magic of video, one leg becomes two. Once again, due to low battery, the actual assembly of the legs onto the bench itself was not recorded, but here you can see how the four legs and the shelf have been assembled together. Next up is to add a brace on the bottom of the bench top to add support and also give something for my bench vise to attach to later on. And this is done simply using a pocket holes to attach a 2x4 to the frame itself. Once the brace was done, I had to bring it to the bench and actually assemble it or screw it to the legs and to the bench top. It's fun to try to do that, and it's such a small space. Either the space is too small or those bags of chips are starting to catch up with me, but it was fun trying to fit into that tiny space and then work inside there, and even more fun trying to get my way out of it at the end of it. So this is what it looks like after I've restocked all my lumber back into the shelf. Now there's actually room in front of it where I can stand. And once I clean off the top of the bench, I can actually start working on it. Next step will be adding a bench vise to the front. So see you next time.